Hi, my name is Flory. I'm going to be talking about my experience with Tumbly / Peter Griff's / Primby, and I'm going to ask you not to contact anyone that I mentioned in this video because that's stupid, and I don't want even Tumbly I don't want anyone to be harassed or become a victim of her. I know about 6 victims already, and I'm one of them. So we became friends back in middle school. I knew she was a pro shipper and she shipped Rick and Morty and showed NSFW art of them. They would also draw smut or suggestive art with them. I don't really remember this, but I have a friend who does because that friend, Tumbly Boo and them would show them these art and expose them to whatever shit they liked back then. And then we made a Discord server together and we had our own channels that we would yap in, and she would yap about a roleplay that she soon invited me to. This roleplay was William Watches, her current OCs. It was our OCs, but she kind of just took over. I didn't mind though. She invited me in this roleplay in 2019, and that's when we started getting close to each other. We would talk about the roleplay and stuff and ideas and freestyle everything. She had 2 friends that were also in this roleplay, and they would often send gore to us if we pissed them off or if they just wanted to. I didn't like that. And then we stopped being friends with them. Mostly me. I stopped being friends with them, but they also cut her off because we were close. And every time we went back to it to talk about the OCs and those people, she would always say that they liked her more than me. Like every single time she would say that, and it would make me feel bad. And then we talked more about our OCs. We continued using them. And then one day she proposed an AU called Despair. It was a rape fic mostly. It was a fic about rape, and I have screenshots of some part of the story. She also made a Wattpad about it, but she only wrote chapter 1. She would tell me these ideas about them, and I would just be like, oh no, oh my god, because I didn't know how to react to literal rape. She would make Timothy rape William and Timothy rape Sage. I'll show them on the screen. She also made Sage and William hook up, and that's why Timothy started doing all of this and whatever. Keep in mind, back then William was 17 years old and Sage was 36. She made them together, and I know she still ships them. I think she aged William up though, so it made more sense. And then one day I confessed my love to her. In February 2020, we got into a relationship, and it was okay, I guess. She was so loving and caring, but then I didn't know what to do, so I kind of stopped talking, and she also stopped talking, and she went ghost mode. Like, she disappeared from everything and for a year, and then she came back. We were friends for a while, and then like I told her I didn't like her anymore and I was interested in someone else, and then she confessed to me again, and then old feelings came back, so we dated again in 2022. I told her I was okay with being friends right now, and then she did that right after. When we dated, we were together the whole summer. We were hanging out every day and doing stuff. And she would also show anger a lot, both physically, not just to me, but would mostly beat up Koi and whatever, and verbally, which was directed towards me. One time, I woke up to being beaten, but I'm not sure if it was real or not. But I do remember getting punched and hurting, and it woke me up from my sleep. I asked her about it afterwards, and she said she didn't know. This was at a sleepover while we were dating. One time, she talked about how gross Nem was and what he did to her and stuff. And then right after, did the same thing to me. I wasn't expecting her to do that, but I liked her, so I let her. I didn't know how to respond. And I don't know if this is necessary to point out. And then she got worse and showed anger towards me for being upset about her not wanting to see me at all. Winter break. We were still dating this time. She didn't make time for me. She didn't talk to me. And then she got mad at me for getting upset about that. And then she went ghost again. And I was having a breakdown. So I broke up with her. And I said some nasty stuff. But one of the things I said was, why do you have so much time for this channel and not me? Because she was posting every day on Peter Griff's account. After I broke up with her, she made a video called Meme. She said she posted that out of pettiness. And I think she cheated on me in that relationship because Kobe said that they kissed in January, and that's when I broke up with her. And another thing, we were using a Discord bot. It was like Truth or Dare, and then it asked if you ever cheated before, and she said yeah, and then she went quiet, so I pushed, and she just went like, I can't say it here. So, and we were calling, and Koi was there, and she did not date Koi, so I'm guessing she cheated on me. I'm not surprised. She also claimed that Kobe raped her when it was the other way around. I find that fucked up because she would tell me like I got raped and this person raped me, and I have screenshots of her talking about this, but in her perspective, it was not like that. She just wanted to, I don't know what she wanted to do. She just wanted to claim that because she always like fantasized about stuff like that. A bit of a time gap happened, and in 2024 we signed up for a summer student together, and that's when we were together all the time. We worked at a festival, and she said something like, you have to stay with me or else I'll get hurt, or that's how my brain processed it. It was something like that, but I knew what she was saying. So I used up all my time on her, and I was with her all the time, making sure she didn't get hurt by someone she didn't want to be protected from. She would also sexualize this person's behavior. I'll call them Blue. But she also sexualized Blue's behavior. And she'd tell me stuff that he did to her thighs and thought it was funny. And then I met him during the festival, and she mentioned the thighs thing, but in a nice way, like, remember when you would do this? And then he did it to me constantly. I was only thinking about what she said about it, and it felt weird. They acted like it was normal. And then one time, she made comments about me in bondage or BDSM. And while she made comments, she was tying my legs up to the ceiling. It was kind of my foot, but still, it felt weird. And then she told him, hey, you can do it now. And he did. I was kind of laughing or yelling, but they thought it was funny, so I couldn't do anything, and maybe it was normal for them, but I felt so icky at the time. I felt so icky at the time, and I don't know how to feel about it now, because what if it wasn't intentional? This was in 2024. I always freaked out whenever she ran off because of what she said to me. And she was always on her phone texting him. I saw this with my own eyes, but I didn't say anything because she always said that I didn't understand her. And my anxiety was so bad. Like, it would be my fault if she got hurt from him. So I always freaked out, and I was always anxious and afraid. I didn't want the blame, but in my head, it was my fault and my responsibility. I see it wasn't now. I met her other friends over there, but I couldn't leave them because she didn't want me to. And one time I tried making her hang out with my friends. She used to be our old friends, and there was some new people there too. They were my friends though. She didn't do anything to participate and was always on her phone texting him, I assume. She was always on her phone, or she would put her head down and not talk at all. I tried to make her have more friends, but she didn't want more friends. One time my friends were trying to get me a Mick, which is like alcohol. They were trying to buy me it as a surprise, and they wanted to hang out, just the three of us, and not Tumbly Boo. And they told her that they were going to be back and to tell me to stay there. But she just told me that they left her with the person she was hiding from, and that she said that they didn't like us and didn't want to be around us. And that hurt my feelings so much. I fully believed that my other friends didn't want me around anymore. So I just went home. But then my friends, I don't know what happened with them. Okay, so back in 2023, I attempted to overdose because she was sending pictures of herself kissing her friend and saying they were dating. I put all of my self-worth into her and what she thinks, and I don't know how that happened. I was doing terrible, and seeing that just made me spiral so hard that I tried to kill myself. No one said anything to me. I think my friends came to visit me. Coy and Eleanor came to visit me in the health center. They lied on my chest. They cared about me, but I couldn't see that. And then later, she used that against me. Like, you tried to kill yourself because of me. You make me feel like shit. And she was trying to cut me off. I don't want to go back to that message. Maybe I will, but she did say that. But we ended up drinking together in 2023. After I tried to kill myself, we drank together. We had a 40, and I was fucked up. I remember she made out with me and started biting my neck, but I didn't know what to do. I was powerless, and I thought that if she did this to me, that means I'm allowed to live. I'm allowed to keep on living. I'm worthy of living. She was aware that I had problems liking her. I would tell her about it. I would communicate with her. And then she told me about Kobe and her claims, and I cried for her. We were drunk. She said that there was blood stains, but that wasn't hers. That was Kobe's. And in 2024, after that summer, it got worse after I stopped working. My mental health was horrible, and one time she picked me up with her drunk mom because she wanted me to be the sober one driving, but she was drunk too. I didn't get to drive. She just lied to me. And she fought with her parents with me in the middle. Her mom got violent with me in the truck, but she didn't do anything to help me. She was probably focusing on driving, but we were still in the driveway. She was trying to turn around. I wish she stopped to help me. I had to yell at her to help me, and all she did was yell at her mom for calling me a bitch. Her mom wanted to charge me, and then after that, we didn't talk for a bit. After that little break, I got mad at her for not apologizing, and she went like, well, I was planning to, and it felt like I was in the wrong for that. And I got very sick. I had a kidney infection, and I had to be in the health center for a week. And in the middle of that week, I ran into her while I was walking out from my therapy appointment. She came to me and she started yapping, but I was freaking out, so I ran back to my therapist and I had a panic attack. I was crying and shaking. I don't know why I was, but it was probably just everything building up inside of me because I never cried about it. She asked if I hated her, and I said I didn't hate her, and then we ended up deciding that we should have a break. After the break, we got close again. I was still working towards cutting her off all that year, and I finally did it after New Year's. This year, January, that's when I did it. I also found out about Vessie being a victim of hers, because he cried to me about it, saying that they were wrong, saying that he was wrong in his video, but she's just manipulating me and doing all these stuff. I didn't forgive her when I confronted her on the phone. I was disappointed. I reached out to Vessie and I got their perspective and what happened. I also shared my own, and it turns out we were going through the same thing, so we became friends. We also met Kobe after that. We found out Kobe was raped by her multiple times. She would guilt trip Kobe and do all these things. She didn't take no for an answer. And I confronted her again. She cried to me saying, I'm scared your friends are gonna say I'm manipulative. I'm scared you're gonna tell Kobe. I'm scared that I'm gonna lose you. And then I just went like, yeah, I am gonna tell Kobe. And then I got sent to the ward over personal stuff. While in the ward, I was just like working on myself. I was working on my anxiety and depression and these other things. I might have PTSD. While I was in the ward, I told my psychiatrist and nurses about it. I told my therapist about it, and they said, you have to leave right now. You gotta leave because she's dragging you down into a pit with her. She's hurting you. She's manipulating you. She sexually assaulted you. And she keeps gaslighting you and using everything against you. It's not good for your mental health. You have to leave. And I think they helped me a lot through it because I was always so pissed off and angry and upset over what she did and what she's not admitting to. She doesn't want to admit to it. She doesn't want to face her responsibilities. She doesn't want to apologize because she's full of herself and she doesn't like confrontation. Anyways, I confronted her again while I was in the ward and I screamed at her on the phone because she kept denying and saying that she doesn't know. I didn't really scream, but I was angry enough to tell her how I felt and what I thought she was doing. I called again later because she was telling my friend shit about me and he unfriended me. After that, I stopped. And she called me at 5 a.m. again, but I was asleep, thankfully. I didn't have my phone. Other things I want to mention is that she basically bullied me into quitting art and everything. and I fell into depression, and I didn't see the point of anything anymore. I didn't see the point of writing or reading or drawing or making stuff if nothing will make her happy, because I only cared about what she thought about me. I put my self-worth into her. It felt like she always wanted to be better at everything. She always talked about how good her art was and how good she's at doing stuff like making plushies or writing or basically anything. She also said that she had all these mental illnesses and made it her whole personality. Like, she has diagnosed BPD and ADHD in her bio. She uses BPD as an excuse for her actions, and she uses being drunk an excuse. She would get mad easily. Like, time we saw her shadow OC, and we thought it was cool, so we were like, let's all make shadow OCs. It would be cool if we drew them interacting with each other. It would be awesome. It would be so fun. And then she got upset and said it was her idea, and she said it was about my trauma. But she's not original. She's not the one who invented the shadow OCs, and I don't see why she was upset about that. She was so petty all the time. When I dyed my hair, we were hanging around with Koi, who is also blonde, and she was like, let's dye our hair without telling her. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but right now I'm just like, why is she so horrible? Why is she so upset about the smallest things? I always wanted to dye my hair blonde. It was stupid. I can't believe I put all my self-worth into what she thought about me. It was very unhealthy and bad for me, and I feel like she used it against me. I went through gaslighting, manipulating, guilt tripping, mental, and kind of physical abuse around her. She put me through sexual assault, and she says she doesn't remember it. She made sexual comments about me, too. I'm getting better now. I'm not so depressed anymore, and I'm starting to draw and write and do the things I like without her breathing down my neck. She used her BPD as an excuse for everything. One time I mentioned my friend having OCD, and she immediately said she had it too and seemed offended. She would also do a lot of things that will pull me back into liking her. Like, she would say, you were the best relationship I've ever had. I'm sorry I was a bad girlfriend. I'd freak out if you dated someone else, but I don't like you. You're my best friend. You're my only friend. You're my favorite person. BPD. You're the only one I have. You're the only one I tell my things about. You're the only one that knows about my trauma. You're the only one keeping me alive. And it put so much pressure on me that I had to be there for her. I had to be the bestest friend I could be. I had to be there for her. I had to do what she wanted. She made me like this. She ruined me. She ruined everything. I can't believe I gave up on art because of her. I always wanted to be a graphic designer. I might work towards that though, but she was such a bad friend. I don't want anyone else to get hurt by her. I don't want anyone else to go through what she put us through. I'm so proud of Kobe, Vessi, and the other people for cutting her off. I'm so proud of Koi and Moss. I'm so proud of everyone for cutting her off because she's a horrible person, and everything she does is intentional. She said that herself. She knew Vessi and her would have a bad relationship because of the power dynamic, but she did it anyways. She went with Vessi anyways, and she did horrible things to them. She treated them horribly, and she would ghost them a lot, even if they were dating. They only talked for about like 2-4 months before Vessi broke up with her. And to me, she was like, "Oh, my boyfriend broke up with me. It's okay." And she would make me feel bad about her. Peter Griff's wasn't even her idea. She claimed it was her idea when it was Kobe's. Tumbly Boo wasn't her idea. That's something I would say often back then before she named herself that. And she would get upset if we did stuff that was her idea or close to what she wanted to do. She would get upset and say stuff. She would get upset. She would get angry. One time we were playing Mario Party, me, her, Koi, and Nem. We were playing Mario Party together, and Koi did something that pissed her off, and she got up, and it felt so scary. Koi ran into the bathroom and locked the door, and she chased her down and was banging on the door. And I was scared that she would do something to me too. I was scared that she was going to hurt me, and I fully believed one day she would kill me because I was the only one she had. And she told me she had these intrusive thoughts, these violent thoughts, and she would describe them back then. And it scared me. I keep learning things about her being physically abusive towards him. And one time, Koi had a really dark time during 2022 and was very suicidal, and she yelled at him so hard, and I think it was the worst way possible to talk to someone who's on the brink of suicide. And she used me as an example while screaming at Koi. I got permission to get the screenshots, but I'll put it on the screen right now. You could tell that at least she cares, but that was the worst way possible to do that. I don't like that she did that. I wish she handled it more carefully, because if I was on the brink of suicide and I saw all these messages, I would actually go through with it. It would push me to do it. But Koi didn't see it at the time, so I'm glad. Koi was also okay with it at the time because he thought she deserved it. But looking back now, she's just it weirds her out because she wouldn't let that happen to anyone else. She would get upset if someone did that to me. Tumbly Boo would also say that Koi didn't care about them and that we weren't even trying to be their friend, but I'm gonna put this on the screen right now, and you can see that Koi was genuinely trying to be her friend. I genuinely wanted to be friends with her. It's weird to say that they didn't even try to be her friend when Koi was doing all of this and everyone else was trying to keep in touch, but she never replied or she never put the effort into being our friend. And she replaced us with Colby and someone else. I actually got Koi to describe their situation, and I'll be playing it here.
Hello, my name's Koi. I know you guys don't know me because I'm not in the animator community at all, but I know Lucy or Tomoe Boo, whatever she goes by. But I was one of her semi-close friends in real life alongside Flory. I wasn't close enough with her to outright see all the abusive things he's done, but I was close enough to know how she acted. Without really knowing or thinking badly about it, because she was my friend and I never wanted to view her as bad. I wanted to view her as good, but obviously that's not the case anymore, I guess. Anyways, back in 2022, starting around August, I fell into a really bad time in my life. I wasn't well mentally. I would go as far to say that I was sick. It felt like I was just barely surviving every single day. I'd make it publicly known that I wanted to kill myself, which I admit is my fault. It is a bit weird to be saying that to whatever all the time. I don't know, but I think the way that Lucy reacted to all of that is even weirder in my opinion. Anyways, in September, it started getting really bad to the point I would attempt every week. My mental health, my friends, and family stuff all boiled together until I couldn't take it anymore and my body shut down. I started dissociating all throughout October. At this point, Lucy was back at her boarding school as summer break just ended, and I didn't really see her or Florrie much at all throughout that summer and fall because they would like they would spend time together endlessly as they were in a relationship at that time. I didn't and still don't really know what they were doing or how they acted towards each other, but that's because I respected the relationship. They were private about that, and I understood it. I respected it, and it doesn't make any sense because he talks stuff about my relationship. I stopped dissociating in November, but that didn't really mean that I was necessarily better or cured, I guess, in a way. Once I stopped dissociating, it just came back as worse as it was back in September, and it finally led me to deciding to go through with it. I left the Discord server me and my friends had, which Lucy was in. I discreetly let it be known on Facebook that this was it for me, which I also had my friends on, and I stopped going online. At that point, I really did genuinely think that is when I was going to die. I laid on the cold, dark floor of my room and waited until my family went back into the room so I could do it. Um, and during that exact moment that I was waiting and waiting, as the minutes went by, that's when Lucy finally decided, and coincidentally decided, to reach out to me about my mental health. But it was in a way that is so insane that I could never imagine myself yelling at my friends like she did with me, especially in such a vulnerable state that I was. She started off with calling me a fucking asshole, saying that she doesn't care if I thought it was weird that she was reaching out or not, saying that she didn't care if her response would make me mad or sad. She was just basically ranting to me how annoying it was I would make it known that I was sick, saying stuff like, "No, I don't care if this makes you sad. Why would I just accept that? Literally, why can't you see that? I am tired of hearing go, oh, might as well just die. I had to stop following you and take a break from your account on Facebook because all it was you saying you're going to kill yourself. This makes me so mad. I can't explain how angry I am with you." And she even went as far to say that she planned to come over to my place and literally physically slap me to tell me all of this before she went out to continue her school. During the time that she was just messaging me, I wasn't on my screen because thankfully my boyfriend came over at just the right time to stop me from trying to kill myself, which is why it's shown that I wasn't replying during her crash out in my DMs about my mental health. You can see us talking for a little bit right after, and you can see me saying sorry and that she, along with my friends, didn't need to forgive me for being annoying about my sickness, saying that I'm not even mad at her for yelling at me, and even allowing her to say all that to me because I thought I needed to be yelled at. I thought I deserved bad behavior towards myself. At the time, I even thought that she should have slapped me because I deserved it. I kind of wanted her to, which goes to show how ill I was at the time. And I knew that she would have done it because she was always physical towards me specifically, never our other friends. She pushed me, punched me, and kicked me in a way that I thought was supposed to be a joke. But after it happening a lot of times, I almost started trying not to aggravate her so I wouldn't be physically attacked in whatever way she chose. Obviously, there are some aspects of her trying to show me that she cared and actually didn't want me to die, but the fact that she did it in a way she did made me realize now that it's genuinely crazy that she would approach someone that's vulnerably sick like that. I don't think that is how you're supposed to talk to someone so obviously suicidal. If my boyfriend didn't come at the time he did, and if I saw Lucy yelling at me like that, I think I would have genuinely gone through with it, which is like so fucked up. I wasn't really talking to my friends at the time, or at least from what I remember, because I believed they were better off without me and didn't really want to be my friend. So what she said to me would have genuinely made me want to go through with it, which is fucking crazy. And I'm gonna be so for real with you here. I never thought that at the time all of that was weird or insane to someone who was suicidal. I genuinely just brushed it off because I genuinely thought I deserved to be yelled at like that. It took me until this month to actually realize it's fucked up. I never talked to her like that, nor have I ever even showed her that I was mad at all towards her during the time that we were friends. Even when we stopped being close friends, I still told her I thought she was a good friend. I congratulated her on graduating high school and being accepted to uni. I even tried to talk to her and apologize to her about something that I did, but she never responded. I don't think there's anything outstanding that I have done to her for her to act the way she did towards me. It's like I was it's like it's like I was almost her target if she needed to physically release her anger. She didn't want to do that to Flory because she knew Flory would make it known that it hurt her. Thank God. And she didn't want to do it to our other old friend because she was scared of him. And our other friend she wasn't even really close with at all. So that just left me, her little punching bag, I guess. Her weird attacking behavior doesn't even stop there. Growing up as friends in 2019, she and our other old friend would always make fun of me, straight up bully me and yell at me, telling me that it's my fault our plans didn't work, or even just putting the blame on me for whatever little reason. I don't know why. And it was pretty bad during winter 2019 specifically, which is kind of funny because that's when I started getting really depressed for the first time in my entire life. So it was pretty bad. There are some other things that she's done to Flory and other people, like for example, physically showing her self-harm, even in the act. She'd burn, cut, punch, or even slam herself against the wall, all in front of people for seemingly no reason. She's never done that in front of me personally, but I know it's been a recurring theme. Even the people at her high school saw it, ones she wasn't even really close friends with. All the stuff that she's done throughout the years to me, Flory, and all the other victims is genuinely sickening. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a victim, but as someone who was as close to her, I think I have some right to be talking about this because literally, what the fuck? But I really do hope that they all continue to grow and heal without her being in their lives anymore. Lucy, if you hear me, fuck you and your mom.
She also handled Kobe's breakdown like this. That's not how you handle it. That's not how you handle someone who's on the brink of suicide. You can't be the only one with mental illness, you know? You can't be the only one with all these things. I have PTSD. I have major depressive disorder. I have social anxiety disorder. I have complex developmental trauma. But I don't make it my whole personality. It's just something I'm going through, and I didn't brag about it in front of other people's faces. I didn't use it as an excuse. I didn't use it as an excuse if I messed up. I would apologize and communicate with the person and try to get their side, and I would try the most I could do. I could only do so much. She didn't do shit when I was about to kill myself. She just sent pictures and pushed me into doing it. There was nothing else that I feel like she did it on purpose now, because I found out most of the things she does is intentional, and she wants to be the person she wants to be. There's no excuse for her behavior. It might be one of the things, but BPD can't excuse sexual assault, physical assault, and mental abuse. It can't excuse that. Behavior and feelings and the mind are all separate things, and she needs to know that. She probably does know that, but she just doesn't want to admit she's a terrible person. This was my experience with Tumbly Boo. I might have more things to say later, but this is all I could say right now, because I don't really remember, and I wrote all of this down. I made more key points, but that's all I could do. Jesse will share his side of the story when he's ready to. His experience with Tumbly Boo. but it contains sexual assault and mental abuse and grooming. Kobe will also share their experience with Tumbly. I don't want to say what happened between them because that's not my story to share, and we're working on a video together. We have all these screenshots and we have all these stuff, but not enough evidence. We have the things that happened to us. Thank you for listening and watching the whole video. I wasn't expecting to make this, but I thought I would because I don't want anyone else to get hurt. I want to spread awareness on this person. She's a dangerous person. She hurts everyone she gets close to, and she does the same kind of stuff she does. There's a pattern in her behavior, and she doesn't want to stop it. She doesn't seem to want to put the effort into getting better. I've seen this. I know her. I know her, and I know what she'll do to other people if they get close to her. So please don't contact her or harass her because she won't listen. Thank you for listening. Bye.